Dr. Sharples, we have been in the forefront of for the technology area in this college. How do you foresee that in the upcoming years with all these budget cuts to support technology?
You know, one of the statements in the school's mission statement, Merlin, is to be a leader in using technology in education. And Lord have mercy, did Jim Hillier and the rest of you folks take that? He took that on with passion. And I know, and I've heard Mike mention many times that he would compare our technology education and educators to any school in the country, and I wholeheartedly support that. Now, it's an expensive proposition. It really is. So how do we get the funds to do that? Again, you know, we're going to have to prioritize, and that's our mission statement. Everything we do, Merlin, has to be directed and focused on accomplishing the mission of the institution. And that's one of the 5 different prongs to that. So that is a priority and will continue to be so. Ed, you almost have as little hair as I do. Not quite. You're catching up to me there. How you doing, Ed?
I think Robin has a question there.
You've been in various positions at the college, and you've retired and moved to Pfeiffer.
Right.
So why do you want to be the president of SCC?
Okay. And that really is an excellent question. As I mentioned, I had not planned to go back to work full time. I like to say that, Susan, I was retired for 4 days, okay? I left here on September 16th, went to work, and the Wednesday went to work at Pfeiffer, you know, and then the following Monday. What Pfeiffer has done for me really, I guess it's 2 things, Robin. It has made me realize how much I love education as a profession. And as much as I'm enjoying working at my alma mater, it also made me realize that this is where I want to be, in the community college, because the students here don't have the opportunities that the students at Pfeiffer do. Often, as you well know, college has not been highly emphasized in the families of our students. Just as not. They're almost all first-generation students. And they are scared to death when they come up that hill. They are just petrified to go into that big Stanley Tech on the hill. I want to ensure that those students know about the opportunities available for them here, and that we do our best in providing those opportunities to them. This, as I mentioned to the trustees, this is not a stepping stone for me. I assure you I have no aspirations to be president anywhere else. Too old for that stuff. Hey, Christine.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Sitting in the president's chair, probably calling you to help me out with some kind of data tail report. I'm certain. You know, things just aren't going to change, are they? Right. Right. No, if I'm selected to be president, it's not for just a couple of years. Of course, it might be for a couple of days, depending on the trustees. Really up to them.
As the roles of the community colleges change, we've seen a lot of changes over the years. What new ideas are you going to bring to campus to help those changes?
What are you going to do about the bookstore, Gav?
Well, I'm doing book rentals now through a company.
Right.
We're doing online shipping
Yeah.
to online students.
Do you think in 5 years students will be buying books in the bookstore at all? Will they be downloading them on their Kindle or whatever it is?
They'll still be buying books.
Of course they will, yeah.
But I think a lot of it may be e-books,
Right.
access codes, and all that.
I'll be very surprised if it's not. I mean, it's a lot easier for the book companies, and they're not going to charge any less, are they? No, of course not. Of course not. So, I guess my answer to your question is to challenge you. What I want to do is create the environment and culture here that allows you to be creative and to think about what's coming next. I certainly don't have nearly the expertise that you do or that Christina does, or any of you do for heaven's sakes, in your chosen fields. But what I want to do is ensure that you have the opportunity to think about that and talk about that, and let's try these things. And what are the best practices elsewhere that we can implement and adapt to? Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dr. Sharples, what do you view as the President's role in supporting the mission of developmental education?
It's a shame that we have any developments that it really is. I wish we didn't. I wish we didn't. But when I say that, I wish that these folks had the opportunity to gain the skills that are necessary to succeed at the college level. But they don't. I can't imagine. It's just such a critical component of what we do. I mean, I support the efforts and the concept and the work that goes into it wholly. I never perceived here that developmental education was thought of as anything else but as a crucial component of the entire education spectrum that we offer to. Ed, if that's for me, tell them I'll be right there.
Will do.
Hey, Joe.
As the college continues to grow and the college continues to grow along, how do you foresee things for the college situation on campus?
Well, I was a skeptic of the early college initially, and I'll tell you why. Because the year before, we had Stanley Academy here. Raise your hand if you remember Stanley Academy. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, right. And I was not as familiar with the early college concept as Robin and others were. I mean, I knew what it was, but really the only point of reference I had was the academy. And kids running through the halls, cursing, and just all sorts of things. Smoking cigarettes out by the gas tank, and that was not very smart. But I had a Damascus Road experience. The scales fell from my eyes, and it is just a tremendous asset to this community. Denise and I, in fact, interviewed some of the first group that came in, and to see those kids come from essentially being 8th graders to now college graduates and beyond. You know, they have 13 years of education. 2 of them, Kenneth Chambers and Ashley Constantine, were just awarded scholarships from the Rotary Club to pursue the next step in their higher education adventure. So it's, and I contribute that to the leadership that John Boggs and others, and Robin and Mike Hogan showed in making that work. Because I was not the world's biggest advocate at that time. It's a good program. It really is.